Today's workout, we're focusing on our hips, specifically with our side kicks. You're going to notice you might be limited by certain factors like our mobility. So not only are we strengthening our hips, we're getting the endurance as well as getting the flexibility we need to be able to get those kicks up to the head. There's 3 ways that you can train your hips when it comes to explosive power in fighting. The first is in the weight room. You want to use your squats, your deadlifts, your power cleans, or even those plyometric movements that get your hips firing really quickly, that triple extension, and that's going to really focusing on getting that reaction time to get the kicks firing. But there's an endurance component to it, and a lot of times we get that when it comes to our bag work or when our coach or training partners are holding for those repetitive round kicks. I'm sure your coach has made you throw those 100 round kicks aside many times. The third thing we want to look at is the ability to keep our leg up, okay? I mean, it sounds weird, but those who come from more of a traditional martial arts background, you're able to keep your foot higher, whether it's with repetitive kicking or kicks to hook kicks, or a lot of times you see in Muay Thai, the round kick right into a leg block. So you need the strength of the hip to be able to keep your leg up. So that's what this workout's gonna give to you. It's gonna help you with the endurance and the strength you need to keep it up. In order to do this workout, it's important you know the basic concept of how to throw a side kick. The first thing you want to do is learn the chambered position. So first thing you want to do is hold onto the wall for balance or use the back of a chair, which I find the best and the easiest. As you get more advanced, you don't need these tools to help you to get the side kick. But the first things first, our knee up is nice and high. From here, we're going to extend out our knee and come back to this position, which is called our chamber. Extension and return, extension and return. A key thing to look at is what my feet are doing. Before I kick, my feet are pointing the camera in the same direction. As I extend out for my kick, my plant foot turns to the opposite direction, okay? And that's gonna let me really get good extension in my hip and get good snap and power on that kick. Chambered up, snap and back. Some common mistakes I see when people throw their side kick is not extending in the hip. What happens is we kick, but we still keep our hip bent. What I'm looking for is a nice straight line from my heel all the way up. So if you're not extending in the hip, it probably means you're not twisting or pivoting that plant foot enough. So make sure the plant foot points towards the other direction the kick is going. Okay, I'm looking for that straight line. The other mistake people make is the position of their foot when the kick lands. If I'm kicking, I don't want to have my toe pointing up. It could be a mobility issue or comes back to not pivoting on that plant foot. So make sure when our toes extend, we're trying to point them down. This way you can almost focus on hitting with the heel or the side of the foot. That's where you're going to do the most damage. Round 1, we're focusing on chamber and extension. So we're gonna make sure our kicking knee is nice and high. We're gonna work on the extension and return, okay? The kicking leg is not gonna touch the floor. It's gonna stay up the entire time. Okay, we're gonna do a 3-minute round, approximately 1.5 minutes on my right side, and then after you're gonna switch sides, okay, and work it on the other side. We wanna make sure both kicks are being worked at the same time. So 1.5 minutes on the left side. And you're gonna notice a lot of times you have big imbalances, especially when it comes to flexibility on your non-dominant side. Round 2, we're gonna work on extension, snapping, and putting the whole kick together. So instead of leaving it from a chamber position, we're gonna start on the ground, we're gonna lift up to a chamber and extend. Okay, we're gonna return and bring it right back out. So this time, you're gonna notice you're gonna have to pivot a little bit more and quicker on the plant foot. Okay, same thing like the other side, 3-minute round, 1.5 minutes on my right leg, then I'm gonna switch sides and work it on my left side as well. For the third and final round, we're going back to endurance, and we're gonna have to be able to keep our kick up. So what's gonna happen now is I'm gonna go more to a body kick and head kick. I'm gonna keep adjusting the two, and I'm not gonna let my foot touch the ground, okay? Bottom high, and I can keep the repetitive kicking as well, okay? So mix up low body as well as the repetitive high touch as well, okay? Again, both sides, 1.5 minutes right side, 1.5 minutes the left side. For today's workout, I'm giving you a bonus exercise for you to try out. This is for more of the advanced followers who pretty much mastered the sidekick and have good endurance already. This one here is all about balance and repetitive kicking. We're gonna keep the chambered position and you're gonna work on bouncing to see how many times you can keep your leg up. What I want you to do is write down below how many you did in a row, and as a community and as a team, I'll try to come back and beat your scores. There you have it, 3 3-minute rounds to work your side kicks and your hip endurance. Okay, make sure you practice at the level you are. Everybody has a different level when it comes to their kicking. And it doesn't matter, you could be a professional fighter. If you haven't worked traditional martial arts side kicks from when you were a kid, these can be exhausting. You might find your flexibility off or the endurance isn't there. Okay, so take your time, hold the chair, grab the wall. Okay? Slowly build up to the point where you don't have to hold anything and you can get those repetitive kicks like the challenge I showed you. Okay? Take your time, build it up, and this is what this quarantine is for. Practice things that you might not have the time for to practice in your regular day. I get it, we all work, we all have our training, families, and it's hard to get in all the time to do all the work we need to be successful. Now's your time, work these muscles, and I guarantee you when you get back, you're gonna feel a big difference in all of these fight muscles that we've been working.